hit the share, Twitter and Instagram at Dave's LFC Chats. Yeah, of course, it's already in. Not even searching Twitter. I want to hear it straight from Dave. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about the World Cup, which starts tomorrow in Qatar. Yes, in Qatar. Yes, in the middle of November. Two crazy, crazy facts. We'll even have a chat of how the hell they got it. Well, no one really knows, but we know they got the 14 votes that they needed in, I think it was the Executive Council back in 2010. I think it was ages ago when they voted for a corruption FC for me. But I mean, Gianni Infantino. Did anybody see his comments earlier today? Oh my God, this guy is an absolute hypocrite. An absolute hypocrite. How the hell? I mean, he's talking about Europe and going back 3,000 years and 3,000 years of history of Europe that they, more or less should feel ashamed of themselves. And, they don't need to be talking about Qatar and other countries like that with let's say dodgy regimes. You know what I mean? I mean, it's absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. It really, really is. He should be, I mean, he's unopposed. He's straight in as FIFA president, unopposed. Just walk back in. You're president now for another few years. There you go. Lovely stuff. Remember, the World Cup was in Russia last. Russia, after invading Crimea, they got into Russia. So they were in Russia. I mean, you're in bed with Putin, basically. And now, look where they are now. Qatar, we know about the rights, human rights, the deaths of all the immigrants and stuff like that, making the stadiums. Unbelievable stuff. You have to watch the comments. You have to watch his comments today. It was a big chat about... It was just ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. He's saying he felt Arabic, he felt gay, he felt everything. And then at the end of it, he basically blew all that away by saying, as if to say, stop being a hypocrite about the Middle East and Qatar and all these regimes. And basically, you have your own skeletons in the closet, basically, is what he's saying. You all have your own skeletons in the closet. We have to get this off our chest first before we start talking about the World Cup itself and the games. Because, I mean, the games is what we want. The football is what we want. It kicks off tomorrow. Qatar to host the course against Ecuador, and then there's big games. England, Wales play on Monday. So, but I mean, you have to talk about the background. I mean, I've seen a great video. Check it out. I think it's Johnny Harris on YouTube. It's a FIFA corruption. It's about going way back. Sepp Blatter, of course, was the FIFA president at the time. I used to call him Septic Blatter, but you know what I mean. And he even said it was a mistake only last week. And he was the one who was the president at the time they got it. So there you go. I mean, it's crazy. It's absolute. And it just shows you how much big corporations and, European leagues and every league all over the world's affected by it because it's the World Cup. It's only every 4 years. It is the number one, other than the Olympics. I suppose the World Cup and the Olympics, who's the bigger? I don't know. Maybe the World Cup. A lot more people play the World Cup, play football. So the two biggest sporting, let's say, things in history of mankind, basically, the Olympics and, of course, football, the World Cup, and to be ran the way it is by FIFA, even UEFA, to be fair. We know about UEFA as well. Some crazy decisions. It's money. Money corrupts absolutely, I think. I mean, that much power. They're basically telling politicians what to do, that level. They've got that level of power and they've got that level of money behind them. I think I read something the other day. The Qatari royal family, this is basically the government, let's be real, spent 220 billion. Say that again. I'll say that again slowly. 220 billion building up their stadiums, their 8 stadiums, and all the area and all around the cities and getting them all ready, the roads and infrastructure and stuff like that. What? 220 billion. You ain't getting that back, but it doesn't matter. They've so much money. They basically need to spend it because they've too much money. They've so much money through oil and natural gas and stuff like that they have to spend it. 220 billion for this World Cup to get it ready. And already dogged with controversy. Yesterday, they banned alcohol in the fan parks before and after the game. There was meant to be fan parks, designated fan parks outside the grounds, set up 2 hours. I think it was 2 hours before and an hour after. And all of a sudden, they banned that. And Budweiser, I'm sure, are not happy. Oil families don't have to declare their true wealth. They are multi-billionaires. They are indeed. They are absolutely indeed. I don't know what their wealth is. It has to be in the trillions. If you're spending 220 billion on an event, a 3-4 week event, I know it's the biggest event in the world every 4 years. All eyes will be on Qatar. But I think all eyes will be on Qatar for other reasons. except for the football. You know what I mean? Like, we're football fans. We want to watch football, not in November though in the World Cup. We want to watch it in June or July. Really don't want to be watching World Cup in November, but people will still watch it. There's no doubt about it. It's just football. We'll watch it for the football. The politics and stuff like that will be in the background. But it's just crazy even how they got it. I mean, how the hell can a country, it's tiny, it's a tiny, tiny country with a really small, a few 100,000 people. Like, it's tiny. I mean, they're not exactly a great footballing nation, are they? You know, they're not exactly, I mean, even Doha, they have a Formula One there. That's what it's all about. It's about bringing the biggest events. Because they've got the money, they can spend it. They can throw it all over the place. Throw it all over the place. We know the Qatari royal family own PSG. They own PSG. And look what happened to PSG. They bought PSG for pittance. I think it was 60 million. 60 something million at the time. And look what they've turned PSG into. 60 million. You wouldn't even get that right back for that. And he bought the club for it. And they spent billions on building PSG up to be one, an iconic up there for the Champions League every year. So it's absolutely crazy. You are talking as if UEFA is not the same. I am. UEFA are the same. FIFA and UEFA. They're both in bed together, baby. I'm sorry, but they're both in bed together. FIFA and UEFA, absolutely. But we're talking about the World Cup because it starts tomorrow. Hi Dave, off topic. Everton FC are on tour in Australia. A record crowd turned out to meet them. Liverpool Echo commented, the crowd under the Sydney Bridge, 150 Blues bounced on the waves, says Jose Allen. Oh my God. That is off topic, all right, from FIFA to Everton. But we're really, well, yeah, UEFA are in bed. I mean, UEFA are in the same boat, but we're talking about FIFA are even bigger than UEFA. Let's be real here. FIFA's the world, UEFA is Europe. FIFA is the whole bloody world. There's over 200 nations in FIFA involved and play football and get told what to do and blah, 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 blah. And look at this. Look, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. It's a great video, though. Check it out. I think Johnny Harris, I might put it down in the description. It is really, really good. FIFA corruption, talking about how they got the 14 votes and, it's all shrouded in mystery and fellas being paid off and stuff like that. And basically paid off big time, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's absolutely crazy, crazy, crazy. It probably happens in UEFA too. Absolutely. I'm not saying it doesn't. But right now, it's FIFA because the big one kicks tomorrow. It kicks off tomorrow. And we're here we are talking about the controversies of it, the setup of it, how he got it, the money involved, the immigrants dying to build the stadiums, the LGBTQT, the human rights records. We're not even talking about the football. We're actually not talking about the football. Where's the criticism on Russia when they host the World Cup? Well, if you watch the very start of it, I did actually mention Russia. How the hell did Russia get it? How the hell did Russia get it in 2018? And they had already invaded Crimea back in, 13, 14? So there you go. There's the hypocrisy. There is no morals involved. It's all about money. They're obviously giving them better money. That's what it's about. I think America, Canada, and Mexico are the next hosts in 2026. If I'm wrong or right, maybe they're doing like a three country thing on that. But look, every country has its own problems. Every country has some sort of controversy in the background. But I mean, from Russia, who had already done what they did to Ukraine back in the early, 2012, 2013, 14, to get it in 2018, and then look where they are now in Ukraine, and then we come to Qatar. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Then you've other people on the other side going, yeah, but you shouldn't be telling countries what to do. FIFA knew the country, they knew the policies, they knew the politics and stuff like that. But why did they get it? How did they get it? That's the big question. How the hell did they get those 14 votes? What this was supposed to improve Qatar's standing in the world, but it's actually done the opposite. It's just shone a light on all the atrocities. Yeah, you would think so. I mean, but it's such a small nation. It's a tiny, tiny nation. They have a few 100,000 people in it, and they're holding a tournament with 8 unbelievable stadiums. But the amount of debt and stuff, atrocities and stuff, you probably never know about that happened to build that infrastructure of the 8 stadiums, of the roads leading to the stadiums, of the shopping centres, of the hotels, whatever. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's the same size as Kosovo. Says, yeah, of course. Ravi in the house. Hey, Ravi, hope you're well. We knew what the country was like from the start, says Ravi. Exactly. No, FIFA knew what the country was like from the start. You know what I mean? A lot of people mightn't have known a huge amount about Qatar. It's such a small country. Okay, Doha, you would have said maybe with the Formula One, it's on the calendar there and stuff like that. But that's cars and stuff. That's not on the pitch, and it's usually in and out in a few days. This is a 4 week. You know, this is a proper 4 week. All eyes of the world on you. This is a 4 week. You know, this is a big deal. The biggest sporting tournament in the world, other than maybe the Olympics, but it's probably even bigger than the Olympics, to be fair. So, you know, this is huge. And for a country like that, I mean, I think it's half the size of Ireland or something, you know, and it's what, 300,000 people. I think they have to bring in security. They haven't got enough people in the country to do the security for the bloody thing. We all should do more to protest this man's just a shame. It's all money. Now, it doesn't matter what we have done. Exactly, it's money is what it boils down to. Unfortunately, it's all about the money. It's all about the Benjamin Franklins. It's all about the Wonga. Probably always will be. I mean, they've got huge oil reserves, huge, I think it's gas reserves, natural gas, I think is the big one. They have unbelievable amount of gas, trillions, and they need to spend the money because they're basically in a desert. So they're building and building and building and buying and spending. I think they own half of London. They bought PSG, of course. Look what they've done at PSG, the Qatari royal family. Look, they own land, they own big companies. They just have to diversify and spend their money because it's just lying in a bloody bank. Ireland World Cup, that would be the pinnacle of the trophy. Yeah, but actually we're in for a bid for the European Championships with England, Scotland, and Wales, and Northern Ireland. So let's see how that one goes. I think you find out next year. So sort of an Ireland, England, Scotland, Wales European Championship. I think that's could be on the cards if they get the votes next year. But I mean, like it's crazy, guys. Give me your comments. What do you think about it? Am I mad? Should only be talking about the football and forgetting about everything else in the background? And will everybody start only worrying about the football when the football actually starts and the kick and the football's off and there's great goals and excitement? And I mean, if your country's in it, anybody here in the comments that country's in, I'm sure they're looking forward to the country. Or have they just said, that's it, I'm blanking it, not watching it, no interest? You know, I've seen a lot of people on social media. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter in particular giving out about it and saying they're not watching They've watched every World Cup since, 70s, whatever, all the way up through. I've been watching the World Cup since about 82, but really since 86, Mexico 86. But this one just feels so weird. Not only is it a weird time, which is November, which has never been before, and it just throws everything up in the air. It's basically in a desert, isn't it? And it's in a small country, a really, really small country. You know, it's a tiny country. To be holding it, and I just think it's madness. Now, should a Middle Eastern country get it? Yes, absolutely. But with all the controversy that comes with that, and then your man Gianni Infantino, it was on infantile comments today. I mean, he basically was trying to take the heat off the Qatari government, royal family, whatever you want to call them. But it actually made it worse. It actually made whoever his PR guy, he should be sacked straight away, because whatever he read out today will be read out for about another 3,000 years, basically. You know, he's talking about, today I feel I'm Arab. Today I feel I'm gay. Today I feel I'm free. Today I feel I'm so... I think today you must feel sick after getting the reaction that you got, buddy. That's the big thing for me, because your PR, manager or whoever it is should be sacked on the spot, because that just did not go down well. It really didn't. It really, really didn't. That's a posh glass of Coke. You're right. Diet Coke, baby. Diet Coke. Yeah. But as I say, I'm just coming on, let's vent a bit, because I will be doing a few World Cup videos, and people might say, well, you're a hypocrite, even covering it. Well, I won't be covering it. I'll be doing a few videos for it. But I love football. You love football. That's the channel's all about Liverpool. It's a Liverpool football content channel, basically. I do cover the odd other things, that's going on around football, world football, European Championships, and Ireland, my national team. But there's a bigger backstory in this World Cup than there's ever been. There's always been backstories. Russia, of course, in 2018, which we just talked about a few minutes ago. I mean, Russia getting another backstory, There's been a few dodgy places that got it. I even remember when South Africa got it. I think it was 2010. When South Africa got it, there was problems, there was controversies, there was stuff going on, there was problems with stadiums, and it wasn't quite there. There will always be that. But this one just seems different. It just seems different. Let me know in the thoughts, guys, what you think. Remember the caffeine-free Coke? No. Absolutely. I like a strong coffee. Diet Coke, the only reason I drink it is because we buy it by the bloody tray load. My wife's likes it. I don't even like it. I like normal Coke rather than Diet Coke. But it was the only thing in the fridge, so, you know. And I have a beer in the fridge, but it's a bit early. A little bit early for that. Hit the like, hit the share. Let's get a few people in. Let's talk about the World Cup. Let's talk about the controversies around it. Let's talk about how they got it, Qatar. Let's talk about a Winter World Cup. A Winter Wonderland World Cup in 38 degrees of heat, of course. Crazy, crazy stuff. Even talk about UEFA, talk about FIFA, talk about corruption. You know, and obviously the big games coming up as well. I mean, we talk about football as well. I think Brazil will be the team to win, to beat. Sorry, Brazil will be the team to beat, but you always get one or two dark horses that aren't leading up to it, doing anything, and then all of a sudden shine and get to the semis or something like that. The host team always do well in the World Cup, if you've noticed that, no matter how weak they are. But I just think this time, Qatar open it up tomorrow against Ecuador. I see a draw there. I see a 1-1, something like that. A draw. It's very hard to beat any home team in a big game like that with a crowd behind them, home crowd behind them. So in that heat and you know, just atmosphere, I expect Qatar to do something, but I don't expect them to get out of group. So that'd be a first, I think, for the World Cup in a long time. Anyone who thinks Argentina and Brazil can beat France are smoking something? No, Look, not really. Not really. France have players on the pitch, but it doesn't always work like that, my friend. Dave, have you seen FIFA Uncovered? I've seen a load of videos the last week over it. There's a great one by Johnny Harris on YouTube. Sky News did one last night. I think it was Melissa Reddy came out today with a scathing attack from that Gianni Infantino conference. Check that out as well. That was on Twitter. Melissa Reddy absolutely ripped them to shreds. France are good, but not the same. Yeah. Germany, no one's mentioning Germany. No one's mentioned Spain. No one's mentioned Portugal, who are a decent side as well. You know, Argentina, Brazil, France. Who else could... Uruguay, Darwin Núñez, Luis Suarez up front, biting your ankles, those two, literally. Well, Suarez anyway. So we can mix this chat up. We can talk about the World Cup. We can talk about the craziness of having it there. The problems with having it there. But I'm sure it'll all come back to the football. It's all about the football. All the teams are there. If your home nation's in it, let me know. Obviously, Ireland are not in it. Ireland are not in it. England and Wales are in it. No one has mentioned Cameroon, says Ravi. Yeah, Senegal. I mean, Senegal without Mane, of course. Sadio Mane is out, which is bad news. And he would have been against VVD the week on Monday. I think they play Senegal, play Holland. So Holland's another team. You know, Italy aren't there, which is unusual for a World Cup, to be fair. No one's mentioning England. Maybe they're loving that. Keep them down there, you know. Get out of your group, and who knows? Who knows? They're in with Iran, United States, and Wales. I think England can come out of that. I even think Wales can come out of that. You know, big games Monday. England, Iran. That's a potential banana skin. Iran are decent, you know what I mean? Wales and the States could be a draw. States will give you a game. So it's really, really interesting. No one mentioned Qatar to win it. They won't win it. But no. They might even get out of group, Ravi. And as I said earlier, the teams that, you know, that hold World Cups, you know, usually do well in the World Cup. Remember South Korea a few years ago and no one gave them a chance. I think they got to the semis. You know, things like that. So we shall see. But Qatar, they don't have any football pedigree. They just don't. You know what I mean? They'll give you a game. I'm sure they will in that heat at home tomorrow. Ecuador, it'd be interesting. Ecuador won't be any shakes either. And if it's a South American team, they'd be used to a bit of heat. But it'd be more dry heat than humidity, won't it? It's in the desert, so it'll be dry, dead heat, basically, rather than humidity. Qatar tried to make genuine transfers to their national team, offering players from Brazil millions to represent them. I didn't hear that, but I believe it. I didn't hear it. Anything's possible. Anything is possible, but I mean, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It really is crazy, and it's the world we're living in. It's the world we're living in. FIFA stepped in for once. Steve, geez, for once, man. I don't know. I didn't hear a huge amount about that. There was so much going on. It's just crazy. In the middle of a season, in the middle of a European season, in the middle of any season, African, American, MSL. To stop it for 4 or 5 weeks and go, right, we're stopping it, let's go. We're all flying to Doha or Dubai or whatever our bases are. We're going to be playing, you know, at least 3 games anyway, if you want to get out of your group. We're in the World Cup and ready to roll. I mean, it's just crazy. It really is. It's hard to get up for it because it's summer for me. It's in my mind as a kid, growing up in Ireland. Whether Ireland were in the World Cup or not, 1990. I remember with Jack Charlton, of course, getting to the quarterfinals in Italy in Italia '90, and '94 in the States, got beaten by Holland in the last 16, and in 2000 in 2002 in Korea. So it's absolutely dripping in the World Cup, but to have it in November, I mean, there's so many mistakes with it. It's just so many mistakes. I know it's to do with the heat. I mean, it'd be something like 50 degrees in the summer, where at least it's only in the 30s now. I'll be happy when it's done. Leave the Qataris to themselves, and we'll get on with a genuine football inclusivity for everybody. Says, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. Maybe it'll change the Qataris. Who knows? Who knows? Watch the Gianni Infantino, I can't even pronounce his name now, interview. I mean, it's unbelievable. Whoever wrote the bloody thing has to be embarrassed now. It's an embarrassment. I think that a lot of journalists that were there at the actual ground, their jaws were just dropping, going, is he actually reading that off a screen, or did he, is he being told to read that for an extra few million, or did he actually make that up, or who handed him that script? Because it's absolutely ridiculous. It really is. He's basically saying that, especially he's actually pointing the finger at Europeans, basically all the European nations, pointing the finger about human rights and stuff, and giving it about Europe over 3,000 years and history. He's gone historical, basically. He's gone historical stuff. Of course, there's history in Europe over 3,000 years. There's history everywhere in 3,000 years. That's history. But we're talking about now. We're talking about right now. We're talking about tomorrow. We're not talking about 3,000 years ago. So I think he's trying to throw something in, and deflect, basically. Oh, here's another hot topic. If you haven't seen it, Dave, have you seen the fans? They were releasing to the media. It's all Qataris like paid, almost dressed in said nations kits. I did see something on Twitter, I think Friday. They're all outside grounds with flags and all. I didn't know where they were from. But I did see stuff. I mean, there's some probably crazy stuff going on over there. And is it true? Probably. I mean, as Carlsberg would say, probably is. And I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just crazy stuff. And there's so much money. So much money, mind-boggling money for such a small nation with such a small population. I think it's about 200,000 or 300,000. It's small. It is small. It's like I'm in a small country with 5 million, and I mean, we're like a joint to them, and there they are with billions, trillions. So will the fans be on their best behaviour in Qatar? I hope so. I wouldn't like to end up in a jail in Qatar, but look, I'm sure they'd be a little more lenient. They'd have to be than they would normally be. Let's put it that way. But I mean, how many are going to go? It's huge money to go. It is absolutely huge money. The flights, there's not even a huge amount of hotel space there. They're saying a lot of people are in like highbrow type tents and stuff. A lot of people are staying in Dubai and locally staying in countries close to it and flying in and flying out for the games, not actually staying in Qatar. I don't know anybody going to Qatar, to be fair. Obviously, Ireland aren't in it, but no boozy fans in the stadium, says Ravi. Yeah, well, that'll help I mean, they can have, far as I know, they can have beers. If you're staying in a hotel, you can have beers in the hotel. But you can't have it now, outside the ground, or after the game or before the game. And to announce that, 48 hours before the World Cup, that was crazy. They have it today because there's not enough hotels. But that's it. Yeah, they haven't got enough space. Exactly. They have to stay outside Qatar and fly in because they hadn't got enough rooms, bedrooms, no hotel rooms. Absolutely madness. Surely FIFA should have looked at that and said, when you're given a country that hasn't got enough hotel rooms or hasn't got enough apartments or hasn't just got enough accommodation, when you're saying, right, World Cup, so many teams going over, so many fans going over, but we can't actually, you'll have to fly in and out of games, most of us, because we don't have enough beds. Interesting. Really, really interesting. Alex Cup TV and Flex United viewer covering the World Cup for DR Sports. Okay. Why do you bother with FIFA, man? We all know it's a joke. Yeah, I was coming on here to talk about the World Cup, but I'm trying to give you a backstory. I'm talking about the football. We know the backstory. We know UEFA is in the same boat as well. UEFA's in the same boat. UEFA, FIFA, I mean, they're basically big brother and smaller brother, aren't they? A big brother's FIFA and smaller brother's UEFA, living in the same house, basically. So there you go. But who do you want to win? I'm going to go Brazil. I'm going to go Brazil to win. I've been saying it since about 2 weeks. But dark horses, I like Uruguay. Darwin Núñez, of course, and Suarez, but we shall see. Who do you think will win the World Cup? Exactly, yeah, of course, absolutely. I know, I get it, yeah. A lot of people are covering it, but France, easy, says, yeah, of course. I don't know, I know. I'm not saying they haven't got a chance. Of course they have a chance. They're probably in the top three. Probably top three. You can never write the Germans off. They're always thereabouts. No one's mentioned the Germans, you know. But who knows? We are watching because we love footy, but we all know they are bad people, says Ravi. Well, there you go. We're watching because we love the football. Yeah, we're not really watching because it's in Qatar. But a lot of people would say, are you a hypocrite for watching it and giving out about it? But you're watching it anyway. Maybe that's a point. We'll take that on board, of course. But obviously, we were watching it for Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool is 7 players away. They have Van Dijk. They have Darwin Núñez. They have Trent, Henderson, Kanate, Fabinho, and Alisson. We'll be watching it for them, especially. And that's why if Brazil do win, it'd be great for Fabinho and Alisson. Did anybody see the Calvin Klein ad yesterday of Van Dijk and Trent? Oh my God. Oh my God. And I did a little video of it myself. And I said, basically, the only Calvin Klein, the only Calvin there is Calvin Ramsey. Never mind Calvin Klein. But what did Ravi say there? Egyptian day, evening day of you, legend, and the people in the chat. You'll never walk alone, Egyptian king. How are you, my friend? We're talking about the World Cup. We're talking about the corruption. We're talking about the madness that happens from tomorrow in Qatar. World Cup 22, Qatar against Ecuador tomorrow. I think it's 4 o'clock kickoff. Then big games all next week. 3 on Monday. Huge games, of course. England play Iran. Wales play the United States. And Senegal play Holland. That's an interesting game as well. I actually have taken Monday off work. I've taken Monday off work to watch those 3 games. Not watch along trend, but just watch the games. Oh, yeah. They've ordered the Calvin Klein boxers after seeing that advert. I might do my own advert. I have a little Calvin Ramsey boxers. You never know. Oh my God. What is the world coming to? Imagine that in the 70s and 80s. You'd have been thrown out the door, going around in your boxer shorts like that. You would have been laughed out the door. I'm old school, baby. 80 style. But you never know. No, I won't, Ravi. No chance. No chance. It's probably something for the girls, though. Just give it, or maybe anybody. Throw it in there. But we shall see. As I say, we're just coming on here, a little 45-minute, whatever, a little bit of chat about the World Cup. As I say, we had to do something. The big one kicks off tomorrow, but you have to talk about the corruption. You have to cover the madness of it being in November, the madness of it being in a small little state with like 200,000 or 300,000 people, where how many people, a billion or 2 will watch this, basically. Dave, you do make me laugh. Thanks very much. I make myself laugh sometimes. But I'd say, Mark Goldbridge, by the way, is doing a charity chat. I think it's a 24/7 job. I mean, he's on since this morning. I think he's on all day. So go over and check it out and give a few quid there. I don't know him personally. I've chatted to him once or twice on Twitter. He follows me. I follow him on Twitter. So I've DM'd him a few times. He's a nice lad, but he's doing great job over there. Even though he's a United fan, but he's doing great stuff for charity at the moment. A charity live stream all day today. So check that out. I think it's on That's Football as well, his other channel. But that's the last shout out for any United fans, you know what I mean? Or United channels, but it's for charity, so there you go. But as I say, guys, who do you think is going to win? I'm saying Brazil. I'm going to go Brazil. I just think they've got the squad. They've got the keeper, Alisson and Ederson, to be fair. Defensively, they're sound. Attack-wise, really good. Some really good young attackers there. But Argentina, says Ravi, yeah. Well, of course, Messi. He's never won it. Would be like Messi to win it and bow out with a World Cup. I wouldn't begrudge him. I wouldn't begrudge him. Absolutely not. I think there's about 4 or 5 teams that can win it. 4 or 5 that can win it, and it will come from one of these 4 or 5. Obviously, Brazil, Argentina, France. You'd have to say Germany. They're always up there. They're always in around there. So France and Germany, Brazil, and maybe even someone like Holland. Maybe someone like the Dutch, you know. Belgium are there. No one's really mentioned it, but they never quite do it, do they, in the big stage? Do you remember when Messi had longer hair? I do see the picture. He looked like Messi to me with that longer hair in his early days at Barcelona. Now, tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. Looked like Frodo Baggins, one of the Bagginses out of Lord of the Rings with that mop hair. He's so small, you know. I don't know if his feet are big, but you know what I mean. They had big feet, didn't he? Frodo Baggins, Frodo Messi. What's the crack, Dave? My surprise team is Mexico, says Zach Football TV. Mexico. Yeah, it's... Look, I like surprises. We all like surprises, especially under the Christmas tree. 4 weeks is it this weekend? An alternative contrarian, feck Germany, Brazil or Holland would please me. Sorry, Kloppo, but you know how it is, lad. Have England got a chance? Have England got... Yeah, got a chance because they're in it. The group's messy, but I think they can get out of the group. And you get out of your group, you get a favourable draw. You have a chance. You have a chance. Last 16, then you're into the quarters. It's bang, bang, bang. England, no one's really writing up England's chances, and it probably suits them. But to win it, I don't think. Will they get to the quarters? Maybe semis. Possible. But to win it, we're talking about outright winners. We can't defend properly, says Alternative Contrarian. Well, I mean, there's a few teams that can't defend there. I think it's about scoring goals, though, isn't it? It's your strike force, really. You get those goals, you know. Bring back Adidas for Liverpool kids, as Ravi. It's just a random, just comment thrown in. I do like Adidas kids, of course. Like, not doing too badly, but I do like that three stripe. I've always liked it, especially in the 80s Liverpool stuff. Absolutely. Yes to that, says Alternative Contrarian. It ain't going to happen. Nike are paying the Wongas, boys. That's what they're doing. What do you think of Werner's comments, Dave? Yeah, I did see that. They were saying that it's going to be a slow burn sale, if it's going to be a sale or if it's going to be investment. I had a feeling it'd be something like that's not going to happen overnight. I have a feeling if Liverpool are going to be sold, it'll be next summer. It'll be next summer, I think. I said it last week with Jack. I don't think it'd be this side of the transfer window, but they're going to have to do something in transfer window FSG just to protect their investment. Because we don't get top four next year. That's a big blown investment. So whoever's in charge for January still got a bloody spend. Panoff Scouts in the house. How are you, Panoff? Hope you're well. Hit the like, hit the share. What do you think of... Yeah, no, we already said that. Various comments. Absolutely. But guys, as I say, we stay on for another little while. We're really talking. It can be Liverpool as well. It's a relaxed Saturday afternoon chat on the eve of World Cup 2022 in Qatar. That's what we're talking about. I want Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Yeah, a lot of talk about him. And the talk will just keep going. When the World Cup starts and players start playing well, that maybe you always get one or two players that come out of a World Cup and go, what the hell is he? Who's he? Wow. He's just stood out. He's in a window and people talking about getting him in January. So it's going to be interesting, player watch basically. I watched Sky Doc about Italia 90 last night. It was good. It brought back memories of being 16 and going on holidays to Royal is that in Wales? Said the Alternative Contrarian. I remember 1990. I was 17 actually at the time. I was 17, giving the age away now. I was 17 in 1990, and I remember Big Jack Charlton, of course, and Ireland getting to the quarterfinals, beating Romania in the last 16. The penalty save from Paki Bonner. Timofte against Bonner. Yes, with her. What a save. And got beaten by Scalacci. Remember Scalacci? He came out of nowhere for Italy. Scalacci. He absolutely came from... I think he played in Serie B at the time. And he came up for Italy and became like, they got to the semis, but ultimately got knocked out. But I mean, he was just, wow. He was unbelievable. Italia 90, I'll never, ever forget Italia 90. That was the dream. Mexico 86, my first one. Mexico 86, yes, absolutely brilliant. But Italia 90, for me, being Irish, of course, was just, wow. Reports that Infantino doing another 4 years of FIFA unopposed, but Ramon Vegas announced he was going for the gig. Any truth in either? I did see that, but I think he's going unopposed. I think it's unopposed. I think he's going to get it. President again. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, Sepp Blatter before him was a joke with Michel Platini, if you remember them. Didn't he? I mean, it's just crazy shit. Absolutely crazy. Del Boy, Gunner TV, what's the bleeding story, baby? Are you alright, kid? Hit the like, hit the share. We're talking about the World Cup, which starts tomorrow. We're talking about the controversies surrounding Qatar, surrounding Gianni Infantino's comments today. Who do you think's going to win the World Cup? Who do you think's going to be a dark horse? What do you think of the comments, the human rights, whatever you want, throw it in there. Del Boy in the house. Hopefully you're well, bro. We'll have to do a little World Cup chat over the next 4 weeks. Come on, Portugal, they're defo my pick, says the Egyptian king. Diogo Jota missing out there is a big one for me. I would love to see Jota has got the lotta, but he won't be at the World Cup. But let's hope he's back for Liverpool soon. He's a bit of a bad injury. He won't be back at Christmas, but let's hope January, maybe late January, early February. I want him back for the Madrid last 16, the Champions League. Waddle's penalty sailing high and handsome over the German crossbar. Look, there's memories. Every World Cup has a memory. What was your favourite memory of all the World Cups, or any World Cup you've seen? Of course, mine would have been Italia 90. Of course, Ireland, the penalties against Romania, Timofte against Bonner, the Bonner save, and we got all the players run onto the pitch and we're into the quarterfinals, like Ireland's into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Wow, that was the big one for me. Huge. Houghton, Aldo and Co. What a team. Absolutely unbelievable. Paul McGrath. What a team. What a team. The draw against England. Sheedy with the finish. Ronnie Whelan. What a player he was. Ronnie Whelan. Only born around the corner from where I am. About a mile up the road from where I am. Ronnie Whelan. What a player. So, like, you know, just memories. What's your memory? Uruguay for me. Darwin with the golden boot. Job done, says Panoff. I would like that. I would love that. Paul McGrath was immense. I actually met Paul McGrath in a pub in Dublin about 6-7 years, maybe 7-8 years ago, something like that. And I knew the guy he was with, so I sat him beside them for a beer, bought him a beer, and I ended up chatting to him for about an hour. And me and Paul McGrath weren't talking about football, we were talking about Michael Jackson. Not about football. That was weird. And that was a great night. But what a player Paul McGrath was. Unbelievable. My favourite World Cup was Robbie Keane's last minute winner against Germany in the 2002 World Cup. Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. Robbie Keane with the finish. I do remember that as well. No more xenophobic, lad. No country has done more to crime. What? Sorry. No more what? No more xenophobia, lad. No country's done more crime to humanity like America and Britain. Or Pete, here we go. Here we go. Open it up, baby. I'm from Ireland. I'm from Ireland. You know what I mean? I'm not from the UK. I'm from the Republic of Ireland here, buddy. But possibly true. I love it, Dave. You and Paul MC talking about Jacko. Yeah, we ended up the last, say, 20 minutes talking about Michael Jackson. I don't know how. I used to do a little bit of Michael Jackson years ago, and the guy I was with was an old caretaker from me school who knew that. And then I think I don't know if Paul McGrath liked Michael Jackson or not. That's what we ended up talking about. Fucking Michael Jackson. That was a weird one. Paul McGrath, me, and Michael Jackson. Well, talking about Michael Jackson. But of course, look, that was the issue. There is issues everywhere. Every country has issues. Absolutely every country has issues. I can see Okocha from Mexico pulling out the scorpion kick in the World Cup. Remember that guy? Was he not... the other guy that played for... Was it Colombia? The Colombian goalkeeper used to do the scorpion kick. I don't think it was Mexico. I think it was the Colombian goalkeeper used to do the scorpion kick, if I'm right. He did it at Wembley as well. And I think England were playing... I think it was Colombia. Higuita, that's it. Alternative contrarian to the rescue was Higuita. He was Colombian, wasn't he? Luis Diaz, Colombia, yeah. Look, no, absolutely, bro. We know all the stories. Rene Higuita. I'm Googling it. Rene Higuita. What a coca. He could play out. He was dribbling by players, going by players, and wow. Dave, what's your stance on Stephen Kenny going forward? Says DevLad86. I mean, it's a tough job in Ireland. I mean, we just don't have the players. I mean, a few good young lads coming up through, yes. We just don't have that. We don't have that 1990 team. We don't have that 94 team. Even the 2002 team that we had. Like the Damien, the Robbie Keanes, the Damien Duffs, these type players. We just don't. Even the Richard Dunns. We don't have these type of players. We have a different type of team. A younger team. It's going to take time. But is there talent there? We knew the story with Declan Rice. We knew the story with Jack Grealish. Bloke played under 21s for Ireland, but with chances to play for the senior team. They were born in England. Their dad, I think Declan Rice's dad was Irish, but they went to England. Those two would have been nice to come up for Ireland, but it's going to be tough for Kenny. I think he'll stay on because it's such a hard bloody job. It's such a hard job. And he was ex-Bows manager, Bohemians manager. But that was a bad loss the other night against Norway, wasn't it? I don't know whether you seen the game. Didn't even bleed and watch it. It was so crap. I used to go to all the home games at the old Lansdowne Road. And then at the new Aviva Stadium. I was at the very first game, the opening of the Aviva Stadium. We played Argentina. And the reason I went was because Messi was on the pitch. And I watched that. And another great story, I was at that ground. Any Irish people in the chat will know. Bill Hurley, the famous commentator of did all the World Cups and stuff. He was sitting behind me in the stand with his two grandkids. And his voice, it was basically, he's about 2-3 feet behind me and he was talking about the game to his grandkids. It was like a running commentary on RTE. It was unbelievable. I was chatting to him, Bill O'Hurley. He passed away a few years ago. What an absolute legend. Obafemi and Parrott are my faves in Ireland squad. That goal by Obafemi against Scotland was beautiful in the Nation League. Yes, Egyptian King. And the good thing about Parrott is he can play off the shoulder. Yeah, but I mean, he's on Spurs books at the moment. I think he was on loan at Millwall. We're going way off topic here, guys. Way off. It's maybe time for the World Cup, which starts tomorrow in Qatar. Loads of Kennys and Kellys here in the pool. Kennys and Kellys, yeah. A lot of Irish went over to Liverpool. Dublin and Liverpool were port sister cities and brother cities over the years, of course. And in the 1840s, when the famine was here, loads went over between 1840 and 1880 over to Liverpool. That was the nearest port. You know what I mean? You'll have loads of Irish names. Got Burns, Bryans, Kellys, even Trainer, these type names, all over the place in Liverpool. Maybe that's why it's so socialist. Maybe that's why it's so, anti-monarchy or anti-Tory. Maybe that's another reason. Maybe it's the Irish roots. Who knows? Obafemi looks good. Yeah, he looks decent. Hasn't quite kicked on what I would have liked. But he certainly, that goal against Scotland was one of the best goals you've seen as an Ireland supporter. Some went to Manchester, but we'll forgive them. Well, anywhere basically on the west coast of England, you would think, wouldn't you? Manchester, Liverpool, they were the big cities at the time. Anybody remember Steve Finnan? He was a decent fullback for Liverpool. Do you know what? He just went off the radar, hasn't he, Steve Finnan? He played in the Champions League final, of course, in 2005 when we came back with the famous 3-3 penalties. But no, he'd be a good one to interview, wouldn't he? Try get Steve Finnan. He would be good. He's gone off the radar. It's the hope that kills me. Being a season ticket holder for 10 years, quick quiz question without Googling. Who's the first player to score for Ireland at Croke Park? Ireland. That's a good question. When we played it, was historically played at Croke Park. I don't know. Robbie Keane? That's a guess. I don't know. I'm not Googling it. Loads of Irish stayed here, Dave. My father-in-law played for Ireland in the 60s. He has 2 or 3 international caps, which was very hard to play senior international in the 60s because it was semi-pro in Ireland. And he played for Rovers and Bows and played in America and Canada, but played for Rovers and Bows here, the good sides in the 60s. But he played for Ireland as well. And he's some great stories. He's 82 in February, so he would have some great stories. But in international, yes. Finnan was a great right back. He absolutely was. Absolutely was. Panaf, loads of Irish stayed here, Dave. Loads of Irish lived there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're correct. Stephen Ireland versus Wales. Wow. Stephen Ireland, ex-Man City. I mean, he's another enigma, isn't he? I mean, he was unbelievable for City when he broke in. And he did a few things and just flattered to deceive. I was a half-decent Sunday League player before I discovered booze and girls. Well, there you go. There's your downfall there, baby. My mate's cousin plays for Ireland national squad. His name is Mark Sykes. Good wee player. Mark Sykes? Who? The Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland? I've never heard of him. Big up, Dave, mate. Hope you're well. Glasgow Reds. Chats in the house. John, Hopefully you're well, bro. We're talking about the World Cup. We're talking about the controversies behind it. We're also talking about who we think's going to win it, who the dark horses are going to be. Will you be watching it? This type of stuff, John. Hit the like, hit the share. We'll stay on for the hour. Want to be 44 in? Give it the hour. Give it the hour. Come at the man. Give it the hour. David Beckham as well. Here's another one we can chat about. I mean, David Beckham, is his legacy being ruined? Being involved with FIFA and being involved now with the World Cup Qatar. He's been paid millions apparently. We don't know how much, but I'm sure it would be millions to be right front and centre. The good-looking, clean David Beckham involved. I mean, I heard a lot of people coming out against him. You know, is it an own goal basically for David Beckham? Or do you think he's right? Or what do you think? Comments, guys. Beckham. Republic, Dave, he was on the bench against Norway the other night. Do you know what? I've lost bleeding interest in watching them. I really have. I wouldn't know half the bloody team. Or as I say, I used to. Back in the 80s, 90s and 90s, used to go to most home games. Most home games. Ever since Kenny was there. Jesus Christ. Or even before that. Trapattoni was there. Remember Trapattoni? Enough said. I fancy Uruguay to win it, says John. But I fancy them to be dark horses and do something. To win it might be a bit of a stretch. Might get quarter semis maybe. Beckham's library burned down. Both books were lost. Sadly, he hasn't finished colouring in the second one. Wow. As I say, Beckham, is his legacy ruined? You know, being involved so heavily. I don't know, because we know he's big on human rights. We know, especially gay rights and stuff like that. What's going on there? Pick my takeaway, Dave. Chinese fried chicken, Indian ordering for one for tonight. I'd go Chinese. I'd go Chinese tonight, baby. Can't beat a nice Chinese night. A glass, or a nice cold beer, a nice cold Coke, or a glass of white wine, something like that. Would never ever, you know. The Italian stallion, Giovanni. Oh my God. In his surname, it's Infantino. You can take the infant part out because it was very, very childish what he said today. Even a child wouldn't say what he said today, to be fair. It was so stupid. You know what I mean? It really was silly what he said. Look up his comments. Absolutely ridiculous comments. A nice Indian, says Panoff. Big up, John. It was good to see you on Coppish last night. Well done, John. Up with my mates. Callum, Sanderson, of course, Matt and Drifty. Smashing it on Coppish. I have to get those boys back on. They were on last year. Have to get those boys back on. I've been on their show as well, but they're absolute legends. Smashing it at the moment is Coppish. Yeah. I'm just trying to check another thing here. Chinese, it is salt and pepper chicken. Nice. Big up the Egyptian king. Hope you're well. Yes. Egyptian king in. All you guys are absolutely brilliant. Hit the like. We 15 in. 10 likes. Let's get it up to 15 likes. We'll stay on for another little while. Give it the hour anyway. But as I say, Curtis Jones' contract is based on what, says RP. Well, there's another thing. Curtis Jones, of course, got a contract extension, guys. Do you think it was the right thing for FSG and Liverpool to do? Or do you think should have let it run it down or maybe try sell him? I like Curtis Jones. I think one or two injuries has really held him back, and I was a little bit surprised at some of his form. It hasn't been what I would have hoped. I thought he would have kicked on a bit more, but given us a bit more. Maybe like when he exploded on the scene. We all remember that FA Cup goal against Everton, postage stamp finish. We were saying, here we go, he's going to kick on, let's go, and all of a sudden, hasn't quite done it. Maybe it's quotas. We need English quotas. We need English players. We need players. You know, he's young, still can improve. So I like him. I think he gives us something. Is he a starter in your best 11? No. Will he be? Don't know. But he's a good squad player. That'd be my thoughts on him. Dave, everybody involved are just lining their pockets. Correct. Did you hear, Dave? Keita is signing for NHSFC. Possible. Need English-born players in the squad, no-brainer. There you go. Need English players, that's it. And I wouldn't say his wages, well, he's on a decent wage. He'd be on a lot more than I am, and you are. But it wouldn't be huge wages, so it probably is a no-brainer to fill in the English, what we need, English-born players. Yes, he's a squad player, but he has all the skills to get better. As I just said, potentially he could be better. Potentially, absolutely. Sheffield Wednesday are beating Shrewsbury 1-0. Now that is the breaking news of the day. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Shrewsbury Town 0. Do you remember that BBC? Used to be on at about 10 to 5 on BBC One straight after the games. Liverpool 1, Everton 0. You know what I mean? It was unbelievable. Brilliant. I forget the guy's name that did that. Absolutely brilliant. Think we're protecting his future worth as Glasgow Red? Yes. Got Sky Sports News on the telly. They're probably re-showing that Gianni Infantino ridiculousness from earlier. I agree. John, nothing wrong with that though. No, absolutely not. Dave, signing Curtis Jones chant when we signed the deal. Curtis, he's a believer. Boy, too. Look, as I said earlier, I've nothing against Curtis Jones. I think he's slightly being held back. I would have thought he would have moved up another level at least. Can he go up that next level? It's possible. He's young. He's learning. You know, he needs to stay injury free. He needs a run of games. Will he get that chance at Liverpool? Who knows? But I mean, Klopp must like him if they're after giving him an extension. Klopp must feel, you know, going forward, he's good to have around. Reminds me of the old days, that Dave. Yeah, it absolutely does, bro. I used to love the teletext days to check the scores. They were the days. They were the days. Do you know what I do as well? I watch it with a beer and it's really good. I'm a nostalgic 80s boy, but I love watching old Christmas ads, TV ads, or old, you know, Christmas. You know, if you know what a continuity is, like, you know, the old Channel 4 ad. Dun, 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 dun. I think it was 1982. The first ever it was 4:45 in 1982 when Channel 4 became a channel in the UK. And the very first show, you might give away because of the time when it started, it was 4:45. They did a little show and that famous, all the little, you know, blocks, coloured blocks make the 4 for Channel 4. And I was watching a video today, the very first show on Channel 4. What was the show? And I still think it's going today. Dave was watching old Christmas ads last night with a beer. You're great minds, baby. Absolutely love it. I was watching them in the summertime. Never mind in winter. I loved them. Absolutely loved them. Did the internet kill off teletext? Yes, it did. Fucking teletext. You'd be waiting for it to go on the next page and fucking the news would already have changed. But that very first show, by the way, guys, on Channel 4, I think it was 82 when it became a channel, was Countdown. Countdown. And it's still going today. Wow. Remember ITV used to show full Champions League games? I do. That wasn't that long ago. I'm going back to 82 here. I'm going back to 82. I do love a bit of nostalgia. I do love, as you say, that teletext. YouTube's great for that. That is what YouTube is absolutely fantastic for. Would you ever do an 80s night again, mate? Yeah, do you know what? I used to do an 80s night. It was a Friday night with a few beers and have music on in the background, and you'd call out the song, what you wanted, or be talking about cartoons from the 80s and movies, and we'd have the music playing. The problem was copyright. Copyright would come in and the stream would usually get banned, or, you know, you get a copyright strike. But the only way around it is to go live and do it, and as soon as you finish, take it down. Don't publish it. Just take it down straight away. I will do something during the World Cup because we're gonna have to fill in the time. I will do it on a Friday or a Saturday night some night, and I'll say 9 o'clock and say, right, we're gonna do an 80s or 90s night, 80s and 90s night. Talk about anything, football, cartoons, movies, you know, and you play songs, and you put up songs and we just play it in the background. And I'd be singing, which does be really good, and it's so funny. But definitely do it again. I love this. Love the 80s, 90s nights. John remembers them well. Dave, you must be a fan of Brookside back in the day. That was a great show. No, I'm not into soaps at all. No. I leave the soap for the bathroom. I was not into soaps. They actually made a soap here in Dublin called Fair City, if any of the Irish people are in. And I was in the very, very, very first episode because they made it. The episodes were made the first year in our cul-de-sac where we lived in Drumcondra, and they made it for the whole year in the cul-de-sac. So we as stand-ins, and being kids at the time, were in a few of the shows, standing in, walking by cameras and stuff like that. And I'm going by in a BMX with my lovely Tom Cruise brown leather with the white collars. Do you remember them? Do you remember them coats? And there's me going by. It's only like a 2-3 second cameo on the first ever show of Fair City, which was a big hit. Still going, still going. September 1989. Love Hate was a great Irish show. So no, I don't watch TV. I know it might sound weird. Watch the odd film, but mainly YouTube documentaries and stuff. I love documentaries. Yeah, really, and football, sport documentaries, news. Boring, not boring. Unbelievable documentaries. Some of the television's absolutely crap. Like the music, crap nowadays. Fuck all is free these days, guys. Used to get it all. Only going to get worse now. Nothing's free. No, I don't think that never was really free, was it? Gladiators is making a return. Oh, fuck's sake! I hated that show. That was on a Sunday afternoon or something. I used to hate it. Do you remember? Do you remember? Do you know what show used to be on before it? And I'm going back into the 90s here. Terrorhawks. Do you remember that? Terrorhawks. If anybody remembers that, Zelda. Oh my god, that was scary. But Terrorhawks used to be on before it. Gladiators come back. Do you all have a will and the skill? You were a gladiator. Great team tune. I didn't like it. Didn't like it. No. No. I used to like the wolf from the Gladiators. Oh my god. Oh, it's regurgitation though, isn't it? I mean, it seemed like that Ghostbusters movie that came out. The originals. The originals is what I like. I really, the originals are the ones I like. Absolutely. It's the originals. The originals and movies. It's hard to make a remake. I mean, has there ever been a good remake? You know, a bit disappointed actually in that Ghostbusters movie. I didn't think it was great. Nowhere near the originals. Terrorhawk, Zelda was evil. Yes, I remember. The Krypton Factor, says Ravi. The Krypton Factor. The beer-loving tattoo guys are offended. Offended by what? The Krypton Factor, I remember that. Do you also remember the guy, the bald guy, and he used to walk out onto like like a floating chessboard, and you walk squares, and when you walked into the square, you were lasered. What was that called? Your man, what was the hell? The baldy guy, Richard something. This is 80s. This is early 80s here. Early 80s. What was that called? Gordon Burns. Come on, folks, you must remember Wayne Rooney, Street Striker, used to be on Sky One. I was probably in my bloody 20s at that stage, in the pub. I love World War II movies, says Yakor. The Crystal Maze. The Crystal Maze, says Ravi. Richard O'Brien. That's it. We've gone from World Cup, talking about 80s, Crystal Maze, Richard O'Brien. Maybe you should get back onto the World Cup. O'Brien, the Crystal Maze, yeah, absolutely. That was unbelievable. Weird. The Day of the Triffids, remember that? I do Egyptian King, says, yeah, of course. As I say, guys, are you looking forward to the World Cup tomorrow? We will do an 80s night. If you want an 80s night, or an 80s plus 90s night, I suppose, give me a thumbs up. If we can get 10 thumbs up from 10 people in the thing, we'll do an 80s, 90s night maybe next weekend, something like that. Bit of music in the background, a few beers. And I won't. See, the problem is I can't maybe go for an hour, but I can't actually put it up because can't put it up on YouTube because you get copyright. Once I hear that background music, Miami Voice team music, team songs, or anything like that, to Miami Voice team, check it out on YouTube, guys. The Miami Voice full team song is just wow. Defo doing 80s night. RoboCop was a classic 80s movie. RoboCop. Did anybody see a real bright light? That was Terminator, of course, the original, the first one. Gordon Burns was Krypton Factor. Yeah. Okay. Some crazy stuff. I love it. I just love the nostalgicness. A beer there, or a Coke, or a milk, or water, tea, coffee, whatever you're drinking, relaxing for an hour, going back into, like a time machine. It's like a time machine. You're going back to the 80s, you're going back to the 90s, even sometimes 70s. Miami Voice team by Jan Hammer. What an absolute... Check it out on YouTube. Miami Voice team, Jan Hammer. Wow, I have it in the car. I do have it on the car sometimes. Oh my God, with the glasses, you know. The Florida look. Wow. Miami look. You can beat the Night... You can't beat the Knight Rider team. You absolutely can't. I always remember Knight Rider when it came out. What was it, 86? Was it even earlier than that? Michael Knight, the man who can... What was it? Michael Knight. Oh, well, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I remember the very first show. It was a Friday night. It came out. V, the aliens ripping the skin off, eating the mice. Oh, absolutely love V. I actually do be on Twitter, and Diana out of V. I've got a few answers back from her. Diana, Jane Badler's her name. She was Diana, and she'd just be on Twitter a lot, and I'd be sending a few things talking about V. V for me was wow, wow, wow. I had the annual, I think it was 82, 83 V. Early 80s. That was just mind blowing. Donovan with the gun and stuff. Oh, unbelievable. Don't even think my granddad was born when Knight Rider came out. Jesus Christ. What age are you, Panoff? Oh my God. 82, Dave, I think it was, the Egyptian King. Yeah, sentimentality of nostalgic. I'm just nostalgic. See, I should have called this channel Dave's Nostalgic LFC Chats. But I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Swords of 1,000 Men. I don't remember that. Do you remember Robin, the Hooded Man? V was good. Freddy Krueger was the nice. Yeah. It was Willie. Willie with the curly hair, the alien, the bit freaky sort of alien guy that went around, was real friendly going around. Freddy Krueger, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Jesus Christ. What was his name again? What was his name? He's still going. He's on Twitter actually, because he's always on about the Krueger thing. Really made him the money, didn't it? The Freddy Krueger made him the money, because every Halloween it's relived. Anybody makes horror movies, don't relive the Halloween. Carl Erasure in the house from Germany. World Cup is precious. Stop hating against Qatar. Those talking about human rights forget what they did to us over 2 years with COVID measures, forcing us to get vaxxed. That was against human rights. There you go. There you go. We're only talking about it, but don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Robert Englund. That's his name. That is Freddy Krueger. That is Willie from V. Roberto. Speaking of Channel 4, home of the Italian football in the 90s, the original Super Sundays, Italia, it was called Gazzetta Football. Do you remember that? Scamaretto, go, let's go. What a... I made Knight Rider tape to play in my car to freak my kids' house to span off. Go, let's go. What a show that was. Gazzetta Football with David Platt playing. I think he was playing for Sampdoria at the time. You had Lazio, obviously Gascoigne. A lot of English players went over to play, and that Italian league was where you would watch it. I think Monday night had highlights of it. Over in Ireland anyway, it was Monday night highlights, and it was absolutely brilliant. Just highlights of the games. AC Milan, Juve, Inter Milan, Lazio, Napoli. It was just wow. And that team. I don't think they do the teams or the intros like the late 80s, early 90s. Nobody can beat them. Nobody can beat those intros. Even the cartoons. Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. The music in it. Check it out. Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. Check that out on YouTube. But the intro is like an 80s bleeding rock album. James Richardson hosted the Italian footy show. Italia, yeah. Gazzetta Football, he did. He's still going. Best footballer in the world played in Italy back then. There you go. One Italian player I wish played in the Premier League was Andrea Pirlo. What a player he was. Wow, what a player he was. What a player he was. Unbelievable. Skills, some great players. Diego Maradona for Napoli. If you look back at Diego, wow. It's a great clip on YouTube where he's training in a muddy pitch. It is like, there's about puddles and there's like 3 inches of rain on the pitch. There's mucky. His boots probably weigh about 3 stone. He's doing overhead kicks in the rain in the muck, and it's just, check that out on YouTube. Inzaghi as well. You're getting a bit further ahead with Inzaghi. We're on about like 90s. David Platt, Paul Gascoigne type era in Italy. That's what we're talking about. Saint and Greavesy. There we go. Saint and Greavesy on ITV at lunchtime. Was it 12:30? Was it 12:30? Something like that. Around lunchtime on a Saturday, previewing games. I used to absolutely love Saint and Greavesy. Wow. What players they were. I did slightly dislike the Italian fans because they should have been banned as well. Always starting grief, then legging it. That's another issue, unfortunately. It's full of issues tonight. But what a player. What an absolute legend. Batistuta was sensational. Played for Fiorentina, wasn't it? Argentinian, of course, played for Fiorentina. Big fella. Wow. My brother used to have, I think it was a Sega Mega Drive at the time. Used to have was it Football Italia, maybe? Maybe Football Italia 90 or 94 or something like that. He used to play it on it, and Batistuta was there. Oh my God, those were the days, guys. Those were the days, my friend. Absolutely crazy. But as I say, World Cup starts tomorrow, guys. Not going to stay on much longer. I'm giving you 65 minutes already. Hit the like, hit the share. We'll do more. I will be covering stuff in the World Cup, of course we will. Controversies as well as the football. We will do bits of that. So have your notifications on. Whether they work or not is another question. But I will try one of those 80s, 90s nights. One of the nights. Defo. Maybe I might even do one. Maybe even Sunday night, you never know. But I'll let you know. That's why I want you to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, because I usually let people know at Dave's LFC Chats. What about the Italian exports to the Premier League, like Ravanelli? Remember Ravanelli? Scoring for Middlesbrough. Scored against Liverpool a few times as well, didn't he? Lovejoy was a good show, says Ravi. Oh my God. Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Our fans got back to leave the stadium at the World Cup final in '84. Rome fans, yeah, well, look, there was Heysel as well, remember, in Belgium. So, I mean, like, the Natalia was unreal. I think you're slightly ahead. You're going noughties probably, are you? We're 80s, 90s here, I think. But as I say, guys, so I will do an 80s, 90s sort of little cartoon, movies, music, whatever you want type chat. Nostalgic chat, would you call it that? We'll definitely do one or two over World Cup. Got to fill in the time for the World Cup basically and fill it in with stuff. I'd have to have music playing in the background, but the problem is now you can get loads of views in it. You can even get subs in it, but it'd have to be taken down. That's the problem. Thanks, Dave. 65 minutes, not bad. Show for a man who's 50 in April. You're right. You're absolutely right. 80s, 90s, and noughties, Dave. Heysel was the next 85. Was the next year 85. No wonder. Well, it was an 85, unfortunately, and that was also very, very sad. 80s, 90s, and noughties. Okay, 80s, 90s, and noughties. We could do that. 80s, 90s, and noughties night. Dave's LSE Jets. Nostalgic City. You should give your boy Brian McFadden singing lessons with your voice, Dave. Could it be the start of something? Maybe now, our luck's about to turn around again. 'Cause right now, Liverpool are in the middle. Could it be the start of hoping? Maybe now, the world is open up to a place where we wanna be. 'Cause right now, Klopp is me. That's just made that up there. Dave, you're singing better than Bono. Bono's actually, you see here, look, Bono's, he's on high heels. That was a Westlife song, I think. The old day, first video game I played was a bat and ball, bleep, bleep. That game, bleep, 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 and the little ball came across, beep, 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 beep. Oh my God, that's going back. You wait for we're culpable for Heysel too. No real fence between us and the Juve fans. A piece of wire. Crazy stuff, guys. Dave, did you watch the 90s comedies? I watched the 70s comedies, baby. Great show, Dave. Trip down memory lane, and it's going to come back. We're going to do at least one or two 80s, 90s, noughties, chats, comedy, movies, cartoons. Be thinking of what to say. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. DM me what you think we should be doing. What night suits you? What time suits you? Rising damp. It is rising. Certainly is. At the moment, it's freezing over here. True, Dave. I know lads who went. Okay. My father-in-law was in Heysel in the stadium. My father-in-law was at the other end in the stadium, and with two or three people from his job at the time. They were on sort of a trade mission in Europe at the time, and they went to the game in Belgium in Heysel, and so there you go. Luckily, nothing happened to him. But guys, that's it. I think we leave it there. It's been interesting. It's 68 minutes in. We're talking from everything from FIFA corruption all the way to Gazzetta football on Channel 4 back in the early 90s. We will do a show, an 80s, 90s, 90s show. Let me know in the comments or whatever you want what time suits you. What is the best time for you? Is it 7, 8, 9 at night, 10 at night? What is the best thing to do? We'll mix it up. It is World Cup. We have to mix it up. We have to fill in the time. Liverpool aren't playing. We'll keep an eye on FSG. We'll keep an eye on everything. Talk soon. Stay safe. 80s, 90s, noughties incoming, guys. World Cup starts tomorrow. Great show, Dave. You'll never walk alone. Guys, enjoy your weekend. The 80s lives on. Cheers.